They were just 40 miles from freedom. After traveling 1,170 miles through mountains, rivers, and freezing wilderness, after escaping the U.S. Army again and again for more than 3 months, freedom was finally within reach. And then, it disappeared. What happened next became one of the most extraordinary stories in American history. A story so remarkable that even the generals hunting them admitted they had never seen anything like it. This is the story of Chief Joseph, the man who never wanted war, the man who became one of the greatest Native American leaders in history, and the man whose final words would echo across generations. This is the story of the Nez Perce Nation. Long before European settlers arrived, the Nez Perce people lived across what is now Idaho, Oregon, and Washington. They called themselves the Ni-mi-pu, meaning simply the people. For thousands of years, they lived beside rivers, forests, and mountains. They fished for salmon, hunted deer and elk, and built a thriving society deeply connected to the land. The Nez Perce were also famous horse breeders. They developed the Appaloosa, a fast, intelligent, and beautiful horse that became known across North America. Their culture was built on respect for nature, family, and community. They preferred peace whenever possible and often chose negotiation over conflict. That commitment to peace would eventually be used against them. Of all Nez Perce lands, none was more important than the Wallowa Valley in present-day Oregon. Surrounded by mountains and rivers, it was both their home and a sacred place. When Chief Joseph's father died in 1971, he left his son with a simple instruction: never sell the bones of your father and mother. Chief Joseph never forgot those words. For years, he tried to protect the valley through peaceful negotiations with the U.S. government. He attended meetings, signed agreements, and believed that fairness would prevail. But events were moving in a different direction. In 1863, the U.S. government created a new treaty that reduced Nez Perce territory by nearly 90%. Chief Joseph's band never agreed to it. They called it the Thief Treaty because it took their land without their consent. For years, Chief Joseph resisted peacefully. Then, in 1877, the government issued an ultimatum. The Nez Perce had 30 days to leave their homeland and move to a reservation in Idaho. Chief Joseph knew his people could not defeat the U.S. Army. Reluctantly, he prepared to move. But before the journey began, several Nez Perce young warriors attacked white settlers in retaliation for years of injustice. The situation exploded into war. Instead of surrendering, the Nez Perce made a bold decision. They would flee towards Canada. Around 800 people began the journey, including women, children, and elders. Their destination was freedom. What followed became one of the most remarkable retreats in military history. The Nez Perce crossed mountains, rivers, and some of the most difficult terrain in North America. Again and again, the U.S. Army tried to stop them. At Whitebird Canyon, a small group of Nez Perce warriors defeated a larger force of U.S. soldiers. At Clearwater, they fought their way through overwhelming opposition. At Big Hole, despite suffering terrible losses, they managed to save much of their people and continue the journey. Military leaders were astonished. 4 separate army columns pursued them across the west, yet the Nez Perce continued moving. For more than 3 months, they escaped, outmaneuvered, and repeatedly fought off one of the most powerful armies in the world. Newspapers across America followed their journey. Many people found themselves cheering for the Nez Perce. By October 1877, the Nez Perce had traveled more than 1,100 miles. Canada was only 40 miles away. Freedom was within reach. Exhausted and desperate for rest, they stopped in Montana's Bear Paw Mountains. it would prove to be a fatal decision. On October 1st, General Nelson Miles arrived with soldiers and artillery. The Nez Perce were surrounded. For 5 days they fought in freezing conditions. Food was scarce, many were wounded. Children suffered in the bitter cold. A small number managed to escape and reach Canada, but Chief Joseph refused to abandon the sick, the elderly, and the children who could not flee. On October 5, 1877, he finally agreed to surrender. He rode out to meet General Miles. Then he delivered one of the most famous speeches in American history. "I am tired of fighting. Our chiefs are killed. It is cold and we have no blankets. The little children are freezing to death. I want to have time to look for my children. Maybe I shall find them in the dead. My heart is sick and sad. From where the sun now stands, I will fight no more forever." The battlefield fell silent. Even hardened soldiers were deeply moved by his words. Chief Joseph surrendered after being promised that his people would be allowed to return home. The promise was broken. Instead, the Nez Perce were sent far away to Kansas and later Oklahoma. Many died from disease and harsh conditions. Chief Joseph spent his rest of his life fighting for justice through speeches and diplomacy. He traveled to Washington, met government officials, and repeatedly asked to return to the Wallowa Valley. He never received permission. In 1904, Chief Joseph died on the Colville Reservation in Washington. According to his doctor, he died of a broken heart. Yet the story did not end there. Today, the Nez Perce Nation still survives. Their language is being revived. Their traditions continue. Their history is remembered. And the Wallowa Valley remains sacred to their people. More than 100 years later, they still remember the homeland they were forced to leave. Chief Joseph said he would fight no more forever, but his people never stopped fighting for their culture, identity, and future. Their story remains one of the most inspiring chapters in Native American history. If this story moved you, share this video so more people can learn about the Nez Perce Nation. Follow for more untold stories from Native American history. And tell me in the comments, which Native American tribe should we cover next?